Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. Today's book, we're on Kindle today, not BorrowBox, and I read Stork Moon Rising, which is book one of the Stork Moon Shifters by TJ Green. If you're thinking, well, you know that name, it's because TJ Green also did the Whitehaven Witches and the Whitehaven Hunters, which I'm still reading. So yeah, let's just get the front cover up. Stork Moon Rising from the Stork Moon Shifters. Now, the Stork Moon Shifters were featured in one of the other books of the Hunters, I think, where they actually entered the Stork Moon Club. I mean, I love this book and I thought it was so good, and the fact that it's basically a murder mystery at the heart of it was right up my alley. There are so many characters. So many characters. So let's get in with that blurb. Shifters are dying. It's time to hunt. Wolf shifters fight hard and play harder, and no one does this better than Maverick Hale, the alpha of the Stork Moon Pack in London. However, when one of his team is found dead in his club, he needs answers fast. All the evidence suggests a shifter from another pack has killed him, but when other packs across England reports deaths too, he knows that something far darker is happening. Someone or something is coming after the shifters. Packs normally keep to themselves, but that has to change if they're to uncover the truth. Maverick is determined to bring the killer to justice, but he knows his team will need help. Hunter, a headstrong shifter from the Cumbrian pack who feels he has nothing to lose, joins the search. But nothing is as it seems. The more they uncover, the darker the twists become. Yes, so if you've watched my other videos, you might recognise the name Hunter from the Cumbrian pack. He also appears in both the Whitehaven Witches and Hunters. There's references to him because there's lots of crossover because it's all in the same world. And Hunter appeared in the Whitehaven Hunter arrived in the Whitehaven Witches books as a love interest for Raya, the witch, I want to say. And then they split up because she was interested in the copper. There was also a bit of a distance relationship happening because Hunter was in Cumbria while they're in Whitehaven. So there's so many people to keep a hold of in this book, but it is just so good. But yeah, it's Kane who is found dead in the club, and it just spirals from there. And there's elements of the Hunters coming in as well, the ones from the other series that look for special artifacts, because it's almost like a springboard. This feels like a backdoor pilot in a way. You know how I'm pretty sure that like Grey's Anatomy's backdoor pilot for The Practice, when Addison left to go to LA, it's kind of like that. It feels like you're reading a Hunter's book, the Whitehaven Hunters, while also driving off in the other direction. Like you've come to a fork. One way stays with the Whitehaven Hunters and the other goes off to Stork Moon. And we've gone off onto Stork Moon, obviously because it's the first book of that one. So, because technically the backdoor pilot was the Hunters entered the Stork Moon Club. Basically they are shifters, which means they can transform into wolves. Then there's also, is it Therians, that can shift into more than one animal. And then there's also another word which is completely gone out of my head for ones that can, I don't think they're actually people, the other ones. They always seem to be in the form of a different animal. And according to the shifters, they have a very different smell as well, which so they're following the smells and the scents to find out who's being murdered and why. Because when it starts off with Kane, they then find out after that that it's not just Kane and that other members of other packs are being killed as well. And then they realise that those members that have died were actually all originally a member of a Welsh group before that Welsh group got disbanded. Is that the right word to use when you're talking about a pack? But the pack's no more, and so all of these members of this one Welsh pack ended up moving across the country into different packs, but somebody appears to be targeting the original members of this Welsh pack, and it all goes down the route of myths and legends, and it's just, I love that it incorporates myths and legends into these essentially mysteries, and in this case a murder mystery. It's just so clever and a really good way to add a bit of history to it, because that's what I found with the other ones, with the witches and the hunters, that you are taking real life things, whether it's myth, legends, religions. It's just a new way to kind of educate yourself a bit, and then you also want to, well, I do anyway, it made me interested to kind of go down the Wikipedia route of finding out the real things, with it being myth and legend and also it being a fantasy series. Obviously there's magic in there, and we all know that, well, in my heart I kind of believe in magic, but magic as in these books isn't quite real. I believe in elements of magic, I'll just say that. Like, Christmas is a magical time, it brings people together, and you know, because when it comes to like my niece and things, it's just like, yeah, I stopped believing in Santa when I was about 10. I know I was in primary school. Yeah, I was like 9 or 10 when I stopped believing in Santa, but then as I've gotten older, it's just like, in a way Santa is real, because I think of the adults as being the elves. I always say I graduated from elf school. Well, my sister told me I graduated from elf school when I finally realised I could actually wrap presents. Because I generally wrap presents now with a bit of alcohol on board, I do wonder if I should give my elf diploma back. But yeah, it's really got that murder mystery for somebody who's likes a good murder mystery. It's good for the fantasy because it is bringing in the witches, and when Cain dies, they actually, because Cain was a healer in a way, they realise that they can make friends with healers from the witches, and there's the idea of actually replacing Cain's healing abilities. Obviously they need a healer within the pack anyway, and they make friends with a witch who is a healer, and so they're just like, oh, maybe she can join our pack, even though it's not tradition because she's not a shifter. But they are kind of branching out into not just having shifters in their pack, so it's that inclusivity as well. Yeah, I feel like I'm being quite quiet kind of on the plot details. It's because everything feels like it goes south really quickly after Cain dies, and then just trying to put all those puzzle pieces together, because this is a massive puzzle and it feels like a few different puzzles happening at the same time, until you find that one piece that kind of fits in every single puzzle, and you're just like, oh. But yeah, it's really clever, it's really entertaining, it's really funny. I will say from the language in this book, it is probably for kind of like an older teen. It's not a kid's book by any means. It can actually get quite dark. There's lots of spin-offs, and I'm really enjoying it. I must admit, when I first saw the picture of TJ Green, she wasn't what I expected at all, because to be fair, with initials, it's hard to tell. And at first I thought TJ Green was a man, and then it's like, oh wait, no, it's a woman. TJ Green is a woman. And it says she's a writer, she's a pagan and a witch, and so consequently loves all things magical. It was like, I love her. I think she's brilliant. It says the next one in the series is Dark Heart. That's Stork Moon Shifters book 2. But I think it is just the 2 books at the moment. Yeah, it says book 2 of 2. But yeah, I'd say that Maverick, Hale, he's the alpha of that pack. And so there's lots of things of him acting as an alpha, but then also being very wary of letting anybody else into the pack as well. But yeah, so you see him dealing with his pack possibly falling apart, but then also trying to build it back up again. It's just clever. And as I said, it is also really funny. There's some really good comedy in these books. There's just one little thing that's actually, it's annoyed me about all of the books. Grammar. Don't ask me why this annoys me so much, but it's just like, well, him and me are going out, and it's just like, that should be him and I. I am going out. It's just like, there's sometimes, like, in the dialogue and things, but it's just like, I wish somebody had fixed that. I wish somebody had fixed the grammar. And at the same time, I'm just thinking it might be a choice in regards to the dialogue, because I've never noticed it within the rest of the text. It is mainly in the dialogue that I see it, but the fact that everybody is doing it, and it's just like, I feel like an editor would have fixed those grammar issues. But that's the only thing that annoys me. And it's really pernickety. But yeah, so if you have a thing about grammar, I have a feeling there might be a couple of bits that might annoy you just the way that they did me. So the book 2 is Dark Heart in the Stork Moon Shifters. That actually came out of February 2024. I need to organise my Kindle. Sometimes it does it automatically, sometimes I feel like I need to go in and just sort stuff out. I very much enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the murder mystery at the heart of it, but then also having the paranormal fantasy elements. And because when it comes to the idea of shifters, it's not something that I've ever really read about before. So it was interesting to look at the myths and the legends around that. Yeah, I'll show you the front cover once more. Let's go back to the beginning again. I do think that the front covers for these books are absolutely incredible. Yeah, there's your front cover. I do have Lazarus, the next Lars Kepler book, waiting in my Kindle. And I did start to listen to Rachel again by Marian Keyes, only to realise that there's like a full family. It's a full family saga, so I went back to the beginning and got Watermelon so that I can read them in order. I know you don't have to read them in order because it's Marian Keyes, but the fact that it is a big family book series, essentially, made me want to go back to the first one. So yeah, as I said, other books I'm also reading. I'm still reading Rose. I almost said Paris. I finished Paris. Rose, very fond. I'm kind of tempted to reread the Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page. I think I was reading them when I first started the channel, but obviously having, you know, with the hype of the Wicked film, which I saw twice in like about a week of each other, the idea of looking at another thing kind of based on Oz, I wouldn't mind reading those again, I'll admit. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time with another video. I love you all. Stay safe. Mwah. Bye.